Monster Hunter Wilds is out, but even better, we just got some news about the public test server on Return of Reckoning. They just released the healer patch, or they're talking about the healer patch that's about to be released. I haven't read this yet, but I wanted to read through everything, and I figured out why not read it all with you guys here. And let me do a quick sound check here and pull up my chat to make sure Return of Reckoning that I can respond to anybody who talks here. All right, so this is on the forums, and they did post this to their Discord a few minutes ago that it's up. So Drakwold, our public test server, it's online again, and it's here to provide a testing ground for their newest content and the balance changes. Apparently, a lot of balance changes around healers. It sounds like, this patch has many exciting new features. Most notably, the Shaman and Archmage mechanic has been reworked. Oh no. I actually kind of liked the high magic from the Archmage. Okay, so they have also redesigned how many of the lifesteal abilities work. This will be most visible on the Grace Warrior Priest and Sacrifice Disciple of Cain, who have received a significant overhaul. Okay, this could either be great news or bad news for me, because those are both of my mains. Archmage healer and Disciple of Cain. Oh, God. So it's all healers. So if there's rune mage stuff, I'll go through everything, all these notes here, but I'll be able to talk more about the Archmage and Disciple of Cain changes. Excuse me. Overhauling lifesteal abilities. I want to see this. Let's kick off the patch notes with how these new lifesteal abilities work. These new abilities have a lifesteal part, new abilities, so they're not just changing old abilities, they're adding new abilities. So these new lifesteal abilities work the same as it does now with a new base heal, which is going to be huge for Archmage. We couldn't use the Archmage because they didn't really have a base heal. It was just based off the damage. And so the lifesteal is really meh. It really didn't do much. What I'd really like to see is if the Archmage lifesteal was turned into an AoE with a tactic. Maybe it hits 2 adjacent enemies or something like that. That would be fantastic. So this base heal is going to function similarly to a direct heal that is based on willpower, but instead it scales off your damage bonus in offensive critical hit chance. So it sounds like, just like it's working now, right? The healing bonus for your lifesteal for Disciple of Cain is going to work off strength. You know, more damage you do, the more healing you do. It kind of seems like that. And for the Archmage, I guess it would be intelligence. Spoiler, show. Spoiler, guys. The healing is split. Oh, boy. Getting over some sickness here. The healing is split in a base heal and a lifesteal part, where only the lifesteal part is based on the damage you deal. The lifesteal part of the damage is a separate heal that does not count as a direct healing. So it cannot crit and remains unaffected by heal, debuffs, or buffs. That's huge. Sorry, guys. I'll get my throat clear one of these times. Their damage and healing of the base heal uses damage bonus. Okay. The base heal from these abilities can critically hit and uses melee magic crit for its crit chance and critical damage modifier to the critical heals. The base heal does not scale with weapon damage. Interesting. The base heal, well, that's how it works now. The base heal from the abilities has the same 10% crit chance as other healing abilities. Good. Very good. The healing from the base heal counts as direct heals. That's amazing. So a lot of tactics will now open up because I don't think they used to count as direct heals, unless this is just kind of showing overview of what's going on now. But I'm pretty sure like your tactics that say, oh, a base heal or a direct heal gains 10% more healing effect on you or something. I didn't think that counted for lifesteals, but it looks like it does now. The healing from the base heal is affected by incoming heal buffs and debuffs, and the base heal is affected by outgoing heal buffs and debuffs. Even if the attack gets defended, it will still heal for the base heal. Huge buff for Disciple of Cain and Warrior Priest. One of the hardest things to do is if you're going against, high geared characters, tanks even, that's the only thing you could hit, and you're a Disciple of Cain and you're getting blocked, getting parried, absorbed, right? You're not doing any heals with all these global cooldowns. But it looks like now, even if the attack gets defended, it will still at least heal for the base heal, which is huge. Absolutely huge. The following abilities to use this new design. Divine Strike can consume essence. So this is really talking about Disciple of Cain and Warrior Priest. Divine Strike, what's on the left, what I say first is going to be Warrior Priest, and what's on the right is going to be Disciple of Cain, just to lay that out for everyone, so in case you don't know the skills. Divine Strike and Consume Essence, Sigmar's Radiance and Transfer Essence, Sigmar's Will, which is a new attack, and Cain's Force, which is also new, will be affected. Benediction, which is new, and Cain's Encouragement, which is new. And now for the Archmage and Shaman, again, Order on the left and Destruction on the right. Balance, Essence, and I'll Take That is affected. Transfer Force and Bleed for Me is affected. And Energy of Vol and Fury of the Green. Okay, great. We believe that with the newly designed abilities, the playstyle of damage-based healing will become much more interesting. That is great. I've been hearing words about this patch for a long time, and I've been really afraid that it was going to be a nerf because I felt strong, really strong. If you watch my last Bastion Stairs playthrough, I was top healing, and I was still putting out like 1.5 million damage as a healer. It was nuts. And this just is making us better. I love it. By having the abilities be negatively affected by Divine Fury, we reduce the damage output of these specs, but giving them a lot of utility in return by making the healing count as direct healing. Okay, so it sounds like a buff and a nerf. It kind of sounds like they're reducing the damage that we do, but increasing the heal amount to make up for it. So maybe it's going to even out and kind of be the same thing. Additionally, weaving in willpower-based healing has become a lot more viable, promoted further with the new Benediction and Cain's Encouragement abilities. That's great. I've actually just respect my Disciple of Cain to go, a few points, get the first two abilities in the healing spec to go along with my sacrifice abilities, up to the shield tactic and the free movement ability, which is super powerful. So that's awesome. Before, we were only really speccing just in strength, right, and ignoring all of the healing abilities. But now you can be a shield healer and still put out some group heals that you need to in Open Realm vs. Realm. Overhaul of Archmage and Shaman mechanic. The mechanic of the Archmage and Shaman has always had a cool concept of buffing your damage abilities by casting heals and vice versa. In practice, however, this mechanic doesn't work very well. For both damage and especially the healing spec, there is very little interaction with the mechanic. That's very true. If you're healing, you're healing. You're not doing any damage. If you're doing damage, though, I did use it. I want to say that's a little bit wrong because when I was doing my DPS Archmage, one of the biggest benefits is that I'd still be able to get off really quick heals. A really quick heal or a really quick res. I think the res went from 3 seconds down to 1.8 seconds, and that was a huge bonus. So, and same with hybrid spec, right? You still used it one way or the other. I think that this is going to be a huge boost to healing spec, but maybe not so much the damage specs. The design of the new mechanic revolves around creating interaction with your class mechanic, regardless of your specialization. So instead of splitting abilities in offense and defense category, the new mechanic splits abilities in overtime abilities and direct abilities. Okay, so that could be interesting. So similar to before, abilities either build one tranquility or one force. I'm going to talk, so it gives the Shaman equivalent there too. So Gork's Wag Point or Mork's Wag Point. But I'm going to talk more about the Archmage abilities because that's what I know best. And we'll add some transfer words here. So these abilities then become enhanced from consuming the points opposite of what they build. Overtime abilities such as heal over times and damage over times both build Tranquility and Gork's Wag. Direct abilities such as Boon of Hish or Bunch of Wag build Force and Mork's Wag. I'm just saying Wag is nuts. Okay, so direct abilities such as Boon of Hish or Build Force will build the other. Okay. So with this patch, you can once again be at 0 mechanic points. This means if you were to weave abilities of both types back and forth, you can boost about half of your abilities during a fight. The mechanic is designed and balanced around this fact. We've added new special enhancements when you reach 5 mechanic points, which give a powerful boost and add additional effects to all abilities. These consume all your mechanic point. Wow, meaning you will be reset back to 0. So you can save up your points for that one big, maybe an insta-res or a big, huge heal if you're damage spec. No, I'm thinking about it wrong way. It's heal over times and direct skills. Okay, so cast all. So say I'm a damage spec and you cast all your dots and you have 5 points for your dot side. You can now cast a radiance beam for maybe huge damage or AoE. That's very interesting. I like that. Oh, here, they give an example. I didn't have to give an example. They're giving us one. As an example, let's look at the following tooltip of the new ability, Phoenix Rejuvenation. If the player has 1 to 4 force points, the ability will deal an additional 15% healing. Okay. If the player is at 5 force points, they will be reset to 0 and the ability will deal an additional 30% healing and have its duration increase to 7 seconds. Interesting. 870 health over 5 seconds. Duration increased by 2 seconds. So let's do some math here real quick and see what it's actually increasing. So because if you healed 870 health over 7 seconds, that's now a worse heal. Right? So increasing the duration isn't necessarily a good thing because now you're getting all the healing out over a longer period of time. Let's kind of see what that math works out to. So we have 30% increased healing, right? So we're going to take 1.3 times 870 here. Got my trusty TI-83 calculator from a million years ago. So we're at 1131, right? And now that's over 7 seconds divided by 7. So we got 161 health per second, whereas the base, 870 divided by 5, is 174 health per second. So that's really not that great. That's actually worse if I'm reading that right. So now, yeah. So 870 health divided by 5 seconds is 174 health per second, right? Whereas you're getting, when you get the 30% bonus, 1131 health per second over 5 seconds, that's only 161 health per second. So you're getting a little bit more health overall because there's a 15-second cooldown, but it's a smaller burst. I don't know. I don't think they should have added that duration increase. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out. It's going on the public test realm, and we could try that out and see how it feels. To find all the brand new effects, scroll down towards the Archmage and Shaman section for a complete overview. And I think they break this down very detailed, and we'll look at some of them. I'll look at some of them, but I won't be able to talk, accurately about the Rune Priest, right? Or the Zealot. So we'll see what changes they have here. Combat and careers. General changes and fixes. Removing subtlety and instead reducing the overall aggro of healing opens up an additional tactic in PvE and reduces the chance of healers gain Lord aggro and Seep Keyges. Alter Fate has been reworked to a strong defensive morale ability. That is so good. So 2 things about this. Subtlety. If you go PvE, Bastion Stairs, you're going to want to equip Subtlety right now as a tactic slot. So you don't pull aggro as you're healing. You have so much aggro. Okay, and then Alter Fate. Okay, so subtlety being removed and reducing overall aggro of healing is 100% good. That's a great move. Remove a useless tactic that I hate putting on. Opens up a tactic slot. Alter Fate is the Morale 4 ability that you get at level 40 as a healer, which resurrects your entire group as long as they're next to you. I've never used it. Ever used that ability. If your group's dead, that means you're probably dead. And if your group dies before you die, then you're not doing your job, right? You're not healing well enough. Typically, I don't have a chance to cast Alter Fate. Let's see here. Remove the cleanse prioritization system. Since the ability rework, every cleanse prioritizes one of the 3 debuff types: ailment, curse, or hex. For example, cleansing light will first cleanse all ailments before it will cleanse a hex. This made predicting what you will cleanse a lot more difficult. Hence, we are removing the system, meaning only the time of application decides the debuff which will be cleansed. This is a great heal in how, or a great change in how this cleanse should have worked from the start. This is amazing. I like this a lot. Reduce aggro from healing by 25%. Fantastic. Remove subtlety. Sacrifice renewal. Okay, this is the new tactic replacing subtlety. Whenever you critically heal an ally, you increase the power of your heals by 15% for 5 seconds, but you also take 10% more damage from all sources. Ooh. This is 100%, the PvE way to go. And maybe even PvP if you stand in back. I would not take this as a doc, but I don't think we get this type of thing. I think this is more Archmage Shaman. Steal Life. Damage increase from 3 times 300 to 3 times 400. Solid. Alter Fate rework to heal all group members within 100 feet for 1,800. Then increase your healing by 35% for 10 seconds. This seems really good, but I still don't think it's better than our Morale 2 ability. We'll have to see how that works out. Morale 2 is you cast everything. All your casts is super fast. They take like 1 second to get off, or less, half a second to get off. You just cast so much faster. What is it called? Mind something. Rune Priest balance changes. We'll go through this. I don't know too much about Rune Priest, but we'll go over all these. The Master Runes have received an overhaul focused on bringing a more active playstyle and at the same time promoting the use of multiple Master Runes. Protection of the Ancestors. The cooldown has been reduced from 3 minutes to 1 minute. Duration reduced from 60 seconds to 30 seconds. Okay, so I think that's an overall like 33% change. So if it went from 3 minutes to 1.5 minutes and kept the 60 seconds, that would be like a 200% better skill. But reduce the duration by 2 minutes, or the duration by 30 seconds, and the cooldown reduced by 2 minutes. So that's positive overall bonus here. That's not a nerf. That's a plus. Master Rune of Fury. We work to healing 35 AP cost, 80-foot range, instant. You may only have 1 Master Rune active. It inscribes a Master Rune in the ground for 10 seconds. Group members within 50 feet of the Rune of Fury have the action point cost of their abilities reduced by 50%. I like this a lot. I need this whenever I'm playing my DPS Archmage. Master Rune of Stability. Group members within 50 feet of the Rune of Stability have their toughness increased by 240 and heals group members within 50 feet for a certain amount every 5 seconds. Okay. Group members within 50 feet will periodically be cleansed for the Rune of Adamant, removing up to 1 curse or ailment. 3 cleanses total at 0, 5, and 10 seconds. Heals group members within 50 feet. I like that. That's solid. Rune of Insanity. The AP drain is removed, and instead for 10 seconds, your target will take an additional 1 second to build up all abilities. Ooh. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think about that change. I do like AP drain abilities, but making the enemy take an additional 1 second to build up all abilities is really good against casters, but not so much against melee who have instant attack, right? So let me know what you think about that change. Rune of Rebirth was renamed to Valia's Shield. Now it's a self buff. You gain a shield that absorbs 3,600 damage for 15 seconds, and all group members within 100 feet will regain 3 times 600 health over 9 seconds. Okay. And Valia's Shield was renamed to Rune of Rebirth, which healing increased from 6 times 399 to 6 times 600. Okay. So that's good. All buffs there, it looks like. Healing changes. The scaling of willpower has been adjusted across the board to increase its value. Rune of Serenity has been buffed to increase the Rune Priest AoE healing capabilities. Rune of Mending, the direct heals have been, 337 plus 75% of HB. What's HB? Maybe that's your healing bonus. And it was changed to 256 plus 1.2 times your healing bonus. So if you're speccing into heals, this is going to end up scaling a lot better. Hell of a lot better. Heal over time has been changed, so the base value has been reduced, but the scaling has been increased, which is much better for endgame. Rune of Regeneration, healing changed from... So again, we're seeing the same thing across the board. You know, the base value is reduced, but the scaling is increased significantly. Same thing happened for Rune of Restoration and Rune of Serenity with their healing. Damage change for the Rune Priest with a new Rune of Fulmination. Let me know. We have significantly increased the Rune Priest single target capabilities. So a funniest thing happened. I've only seen this once, but I ran a scenario, and there was a DPS Rune Priest in there that completely topped the charts, was blowing everyone out of the water, had top protection, had almost like second or third healing, and also top damage by a lot. It was insane. I've never seen a DPS Rune Priest before, but it sounds like their single target capabilities are getting buffed. So Rune of Fortune is now a core ability in the Path of Grungi. Base damage reduced from 348 to 299. Okay. Rune of Burning moved to 9 points in the Path of Grungi, and Rune of Fate moved to 9 points in Path of Valea. Rune of Fulmination, it's a new ability at 13 points in the Path of Valea, and it's an ailment. 15-second cooldown, 2.5-second cast. You deal 348 plus 250% of your damage bonus, elemental damage to your target, and an additional, there's an equation there, elemental damage over 5 seconds. So direct damage plus a dot over 5 seconds. 15-second cooldown. If your target is affected by Rune of Immolation, they will have their elemental resistance reduced by 378. I like abilities like this that have multiple effects and bonus effects if the target is suffering from something else. That's awesome because it adds a huge depth to your gameplay, your rotation. It's not just, this button, this button, this button. No, you got to pay attention to what they have going on. If they parried or, you don't parry. If they disrupted your initial attack, now if you cast this, it's going to be less effective. And you got to make that split-second decision. I really like when they make abilities like this. You can tell this has been thought through pretty well. We'll see how it works out in the public test realm. Blazing Runes is a new tactic at level 20. When casting Rune of Fire, you prepare for your next Blazing Rune within 10 seconds, increasing the damage of your next Rune of Immolation, Rune of Fire, or Rune of Burning by 25%. Let's get right into the Zealot balance changes. Rituals have received an overhaul focused on bringing a more active play style and at the same time promoting the use of multiple rituals. Demonic Fortitude, the cooldown's reduced from 3 to 1 minute and duration reduced from 60 to 30 seconds. So it looks like kind of going to be the same mirror changes that Rune Priest got is going to Zealot. Ritual of Innervation. So long ritual affects all groups within 50 feet. reducing the action point cost of their abilities by 50%, and heals group members. It's great. Ritual of Superiority, healing. Let's see, you may only have one ritual active. Every 2 seconds, group members will gain a shield that will absorb 375 damage for up to 10 seconds. It also heals. And finally, Ritual of Lunacy. Let's see. Grants group members within 50 feet a 10% increased critical hit chance. And then also heals. Great. Tzich, I can never say this name. There's Scream. Healing changed. Okay, a healing buff there. Maybe. Depending on what your healing bonus is. Okay. So, again, the scaling of willpower has been adjusted across the board. Drink Deeply reworked into increase the duration of Tzich Cordial by 6 seconds. Dark Medicine, direct healing changed. Okay, it looks like across the board, again, these abilities, the direct healing was changed, the base value was reduced, and the scaling was increased. Healing over time changed, base value reduced, but the scaling was increased. Overall, this should be a buff across the board to all healing abilities. Leaping Alteration has received a buff. Healing change from, let's see. Okay, basically just doubles the scaling. Big bonus there. Damage, several changes have been made to increase single target damage of the Zealot, just like the Rune Priest. Boon, a new core ability in Path of Alchemy. The base damage has been reduced from 348 to 299. Storm of Ravens moved to 9 points in the Path of Alchemy. Mirror of Madness moved to 9 points in Path of Witchcraft. The Changer's Echo, new ability at 13 points in Path of Witchcraft. You hex your target and they will suffer, 248 plus 150% times your damage bonus corporal damage after 5 seconds. Damage is increased by 25% if your target is affected by warp reality. Prolonged Suffering is a new tactic at level 20. Each time warp reality or demon spittle damages an enemy, there's a 33% chance that the victim will suffer an additional 150 plus 150% times your damage bonus. Burst of Chaos, new tactic. Whenever your target is below 50% health, the cry damage is increased by 75%. Scourge Warping. Warp Reality now has its damage increased by 10% per consecutive tick, up to 40%. Instead of making Scourge be an instant cast, Scourge now ignores the target's corporal resistance. Wow. Okay. So does that mean it's a channeled ability now? Waves of Chaos. Damage now ticks every 2 seconds, previously every 3 seconds. So a total of 6 ticks over 10 seconds instead of 3 ticks. Hold up. 4 ticks. Okay. Warrior Priest balance changes. This is good. This is great. Let's see. They go Disciple of Cain too. Okay. Let's go through this, and I'll understand the Warrior Priest changes better when we get to the dock, because I think they changed it the same on both sides. The most notable changes are a redesign of Detaunt, a redesign of the Prayer of Absolution, and the new United in Prayer tactic. Detaunt has been reworked to no longer require a tactic to gain access to the new AoE version. But there is now a split between damage and healing specs. The new United in Prayer tactic is designed to give more freedom to building party compositions. Interesting. So Intimidating Repent has been removed. Repent now requires a tome or shield. Atone is a new ability available at level 14. It's a debuff. Instant self-cast. All enemies within 25 feet are detaunted, making them hate you less and reducing the damage they deal against you to 50% by 5 seconds. During this time, all of your attacks will cause enemies to hate you 25% less than normal. You will also deal 50% damage to them until the effect is broken. If you attack anyone you have detaunted, the effect will immediately end. Prayer of Absolution reworked into only one prayer may be active at a time. You chant a bolstering prayer Group mates within 100 feet will have a 20% chance when taking damage to activate a shield that will absorb 375 damage for up to 5 seconds. This will not trigger more than once every 3 seconds. Supplication now interrupts when you are full Righteous Fury. United in Prayer, a new tactic at level 31. Prayers give group members within 100 feet of you a 20% chance on hit to increase the power of heals used on them by 25% for 5 seconds. Shield of Faith now additionally grants 10% dodge. Additionally increases block chance by 5% when using a shield. That's good. Block chance is amazing. Divine Amazement now additionally heals group members within 100 feet. And Avatar of Sigmar additionally increases wounds by 80 and heals for the amount of wounds you got. Okay. Healing. By moving Divine Light to a core ability, we have opened a spot to create Word of Wisdom, giving the Warrior Priest a way to increase their healing for a short amount of time. By allowing Divine Aid to be castable on the move, the Warrior Priest will be slightly stronger in kiting situations. That's really good. I hope they did the same with Disciple of Cain. Because I'm used on my Archmage, I'm used to being able to cast the quick heal plus heal over time ability on the move, and it always throws me off on the dock. So Divine Light is a now core ability in Path of Salvation, gained at level 19, cooldown reduced to 40 seconds. Word of Wisdom, new ability at 5 points in Path of Salvation. Requires 60 Righteous Fury. Increases your healing of abilities that require Righteous Fury by 25% for 10 seconds. Divine Aid is now castable on the move. Divine Mend now requires a Tomb. Divine Petitioning reworked to increase the Righteous Fury gain of Supplication by 15. Divine Warding, this tactic can only trigger once every 3 seconds. This might be a nerf. I'm not sure what it did before. Divine Mend, healing changed from... Okay, so healing was... The base value was boosted while the scaling was reduced. So we'll have to see how that works out. Divine Aid, direct healing changed. So the base value was reduced, but the scaling was increased. And same with the heal over time. Healing Hand, healing changed from base value decreased, but scaling increased. Let's take a look at the Grace spec. So the Grace spec has been fully reworked. That's the shield spec for anyone who's not aware. It's been fully reworked with the following core design. Divine Strike and Sigmar's Radiance are your single target in AoE Righteous Fury builders. Divine Assault and Sigmar's Will are your single target in AoE consumers of Righteous Fury. Around that, you have abilities such as the new Benediction, allowing you to efficiently use Salvation Heals or Sigmar Shield to help keep one target alive. So Shielding Grace and Sacrifice both been removed. Benediction, I believe that it's a new ability. You strike your enemy for X damage and heal your friendly target for... X damage. That's your base heal. The attack buffs your next casted healing ability by 35%. Interesting. So you're going to want strength and willpower. Sigmar's Will, the ability available at level 17. You slam your enemy, dealing X damage to them. The Will of Sigmar allows you to heal your group mates within 100 feet for this X base healing plus 100% of the damage dealt. That scales off your damage bonus. Divine Strike has been reworked. You strike your enemy, dealing X damage to them. The Divine Power of Sigmar will heal your friendly target for X damage plus 75% of the damage that you dealt. Sigmar's Radiance reworked into you smash your enemy, dealing X damage to them. The power of Sigmar erupts from your weapon. Power of Sigmar! Healing group mates within 100 feet by X damage, your base damage, base heal, plus 75% of the damage you dealt. Okay. Unstoppable Wrath, now additionally usable with a shield, and the cooldown's reduced to 40 seconds. Sigmar's Shield no longer has a damaging attack. Instead, it can be applied from a 100-foot range. It no longer builds Righteous Fury, no longer costs AP. Grace of Sigmar increases the base heal of Sigmar's Radiance, Divine Strike, Sigmar's Will, and Benediction by 50%, and also increases the life tap healing from Divine Assault by 30%. Charge, I'm guessing that's a tactic. We're going to see, you might already know, I don't know, because I play the Dock, kind of the mirror equivalent. This looks like a tactic ability, but we'll see what it is once I get to Dock. Charge Fury, reworked into whenever you hit an enemy with a melee ability, heal your friendly target for 150, can only trigger once per second. Also sounds like a tactic. Damage, the new Wrath Warrior Priest actively uses Righteous Fury to deal heavy blows with abilities such as Hammer of Sigmar or Divine Impact. Righteous Fury management will become much more important than ever before. The Warrior Priest also gains access to Empowered Smite, giving them a spammable AoE attack for Warband style of play. So Sigmar's Wrath has been removed. Hammer of the Sigmar requires a great weapon. You will now hit your enemies with a devastating blow, dealing a large amount of damage. Vanquish, a new ability at 13 points in Path of Wrath. You smash your hammer into an enemy for X damage. You break their armor and reduce their armor by 1,600. That is huge. That's a big debuff. That's like the Marauders debuff for reducing armor. Divine Impact, new ability available at 25. A devastating attack which deals X spiritual damage. You cannot be set back while casting it. It's a 2-second cast. Bludgeon, armor penetration no longer requires hitting the target from the side or rear. So it's just a straight buff. You can hit them right in the face and you penetrate their armor. Absence of Faith, AP cost reduced from 25 to 0. Now requires 30 Righteous Fury. Judgment, now core ability in Path of Wrath no longer requires Righteous Fury. Now costs 20 AP and builds 15 Righteous Fury. Okay. Soulfire, Righteous Fury cost reduced from 35 to 25. Now available at level 20. Castigation, AP cost increase. It now builds 25 Righteous Fury and damage over time has been increased. Weight of Guilt now also snares for 3 seconds if the target is not cursed. And if the target is cursed, duration is increased to the current 6 seconds. That's solid. That's really good. The mirror skill on the Dock, I stopped using, and I just started using the Covenant because so many times I'd try to curse a target and they'd parry, dodge, disrupt it, and now I can't slow them for like 5 seconds until I can try and cast it again. Guilty Soul, reworked to anytime you critically hit with a direct damage ability or hit with Weight of Guilt, your target will suffer an additional 4 times X spirit damage over 12 seconds. This effect stacks up to 3 times. Each stack of Guilty Soul on the target increases the damage of your Hammer of Sigmar by 10%. Okay. Hasten Divinity, reworked into Beacon of Courage, increases your auto attack damage by 25%, and increases the base damage of Bludgeon by 25%. This seems like a tactic. The Comet's Gift, the new tactic at level 26, increases your initiative by 80, your weapon skill by 80. Blessing of Sigmar is a new tactic at 34. Whenever you strike a target with Bludgeon, your armor penetration is increased by 15% for 10 seconds, which is even better because now your Bludgeon goes through armor from the front too. Empowered Smite, new tactic at level 19. Remove the cooldown of Smite. Smite no longer gives Righteous Fury per enemy hit, and instead it builds 30 Righteous Fury if it hits any target. Action point cost of Smite reduced by 10 AP. Range reduced to 40 feet. Okay, great. Now we're on to what I care about. Disciple Cain. Let's go. Balance changes. The most notable changes are redesign of Detaunt, a design of the Covenant of Tenacity, and the new Cain's Vivification talent. Detaunt has been reworked to no longer require a tactic to gain access to the AoE version. Amazing! But there is now a split between damage and healing specs. The new Cain Vivification tactic is designed to give more freedom to building party compositions. All right, Terrifying Aura, removed. You're out of here. Terrifying Vision now requires a chalice or a shield. It didn't require anything before, I think. So that's kind of a nerf for DPS docs. Terrifying Aura, new ability available at level 14. It's a debuff. All enemies within 25 feet are detaunt. It's just a detaunt, but an AoE. Great. Amazing. Covenant of Tenacity. Excuse me, guys. Anytime a group mate within 100 feet hits an enemy, they have 20% chance to regain 250 health over 5 seconds while reducing the amount of their armor being bypassed by 5%. Great. I think Covenant of Tenacity was previously just an armor buff, and it didn't stack with armor potions, so there's really no point in anyone using it. Covenant of Vitality, healing increased from 100% to 150% of the damage dealt. That's a solid bonus. Blood Offering, now interrupt when you are full soul essence. Okay. Kane's Vivification, the new tactic at level 31. Covenants give group members within 100 feet of you a 20% chance on hit to increase the power of heals used on them by 25% for 5 seconds. I think this is an amazing buff even for the shield doc, because the lifesteal base is now affected by anything that affects a direct cast. So I think this is a boost even to shield docs. Chain of Pain now additionally heals group members within 100 feet. And Vision of Torment, instead of blocking morale generation, now removes 600 morale per second. Great. Fantastic. Healing, by moving soul shielding to a core ability, we have opened a spot to create soul energy, giving the Disciple of Cain a way to increase their healing for a short amount of time. By allowing Restore Essence to be castable on the move, the Disciple of Cain will be slightly stronger in kiting situations. Transfusion and the reworked Bound by Blood give the class more tactic options to increase their healing output. Okay, so soul shielding, new core ability in Path of Dark Rites, cooldown reduced to 40 seconds. Soul Energy, increase your healing of all abilities that require Soul Essence by 25%. You know what? I think I'm kind of sad about this. Soul Shielding was ability in the Sacrifice tree, wasn't it? This was the one that you can pop and remove all slows. Oh, this is a nerf. This is a nerf to Sacrifice, if that's what this was. No. It wasn't a nerf because it's no longer a tactic, or it's a mastery ability. This is just an ability you get now. That is solid. That is a huge buff. Excuse me. That's great. All right. Soul Energy. New ability at 5 points in Path of Dark Rites. Let's see. Increase your healing of abilities that require Soul Essence by 25% for 10 seconds. Straight buff. That's good. Restore Essence, now castable on the move. Kane's Invigoration requires a Chalice now. Kane's Bounty. This tactic can only trigger once every 3 seconds. I'll have to see what that tactic was. Fueled Action. Soul Essence gain reduced from 40 to 35, matching Fueled Fury. Bound by Blood is reworked, increases your critical healing by 25%, and the Soul Essence cost of Restore Essence is reduced by 10. Transfusion is a new tactic, increases the healing of Soul Infusion by 25%. Kane's Invigoration, healing changed. It was increased, but the scaling was reduced. Restore Essence, direct healing. Ooh, okay. Direct healing changed from 330, so bigger scaling. And healing over time changed to a bigger scaling. Okay. And then Soul Infusion healing changed. That's another buff, a scaling buff. Okay, here we go. Healing Shield. The Sacrifice spec has been fully reworked. What's up, Jim? Now I'm tempted by this and the new 14 patch. You got to come back, Jim. It's amazing. I'm going to be playing some Monster Hunter Wilds tonight, but I mean, I was just on playing some Return of Reckoning on my dock when this patch got announced, and I'm just trying to go over all the changes here. 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, so the Sacrifice spec has been fully reworked with the following core design. Consume essence and transfer essence are your single target and AoE soul essence builders. Ren's Soul and Kane's Force are single target and AoE consumers of soul essence. Around that, you have abilities such as New Kane's Encouragement, allowing you to efficiently use Dark Right heals or Devour Essence to help keep one target alive. Okay. So Soul Ward, that was removed. Blood of My Blood was removed. 1 second, guys. Uh, let's see. All right. All right. I will be right back. I have to go pick up my kids. I'll be right back. We'll go over the dock changes to the Healing Sacrifice. Really excited to see what this is, and then I'll also check out some of the Archmage balance changes and the Shaman changes, and we'll go through the rest of these. I'll talk to you guys in a minute. I'll be back. And a bunch of people watching me too.